I'm 1 year old. My head shines in the soft October sun. Standing in the middle of the patch, the pumpkins shine back. I'm 4, and my tiny hands can barely grasp the tip of the stem. It's curved ever so nicely. Pumpkins are giant, and my dad heroically lifts them from the hay bales at the farm into the bed of our truck, from the bed of our truck onto this patio of our front stoop. And we get our front porch all set up, and we look up the street up to the Faella's house. And we notice the Faellas have had their decorations up for some time now. They're winning. And they probably don't even realize that it's a competition, but it is. And the thing is, the Faellas, they go deep into decorations. Streamers, banners, flags, hanging ghosts, For us, really, it's just pumpkins. I guess there's also Oogie, and it wouldn't be fair to not mention Oogie, the stuffed hanging spider with that eerie laugh that you really don't want to hear me recreate. Oogie's laugh died a couple of years ago, but he still lives in our attic, haunting anybody who walks by. That's not true. I'm 12 now, and I'm living in a new house, in a new neighborhood, and we're the undisputed champs of the street in Halloween decorations. So we like to do our setup symmetrically. On either side, it's anchored by a giant one, 80, 100 pounds. And if you haven't seen a pumpkin that big, let me tell you, these don't come pretty. The big ones, they're mangled. They're ugly as all hell, to anyone else at least, but to us, they're just beautiful. I'm 17 now, and for the first time, it's me lifting the giant pumpkins from the hay bales to the truck, from the truck to the patio. And this year, just like every other, we've got one set aside for carving. And when I say carving, you probably think of jack-o'-lanterns, but we never really got into that. Carving for us meant setting up a bunch of newspaper on the kitchen table, cutting a giant hole in the top of it, and going in 2 hands at once, digging out all of the seeds at once, as much as we could, alternating turns, my brother, my sister, my dad, my mom, me, my brother, my sister, my dad, my mom, me, until there was nothing left. My mom would wash off the seeds and bake them in what I thought was a secret recipe, but thinking of it now, it's really just salt. And I might have led you to believe at this point that I'm some sort of pumpkin purist, faithful to pumpkins only in their most wholesome and honest form. But that's not true. I'm really something of a sellout. You won't find me anytime soon sipping on a pumpkin spice latte, I guarantee you that. But come October, I do indulge in cakes and breads and seeds, especially the ones my mom used to roast. The truth is, I like everything about pumpkins. I do not discriminate. I'm 19 now, and I've moved on to college. Been left to my own devices when it comes to celebrating pumpkins. My dad is doing his thing back with my family, and it's up to me now to really celebrate them in their most natural form. And I'm living in a house with some 20, 25 other guys, and because I absolutely cannot help myself, I buy a pumpkin in October, and I set it right up on my dresser so everyone can see. And one night, as happens, I get drunk, and the next morning, I wake up, head hurts a little bit, I stumble out of bed, roll into the bathroom, and I see some seeds on the ground. And I don't mean the kind of seeds my mom used to roast. These are fresh, and they're still wet, and kind of have those fibrous hairs on them, and my heart drops. I walk out into the hallway, and my deepest fears are confirmed. There are seeds everywhere. In the corner, there's a hunk of orange flesh, belly up. At my feet lies the dismembered stem. This is a crime of truly epic proportion. I will never know who perpetrated this horror. I cannot bring myself to investigate. I'm 20 now, studying abroad, and the buzz around Halloween time is nothing like it was back in the States. This year, there are no pumpkins. This is, honestly, a low point. I'm 21, living in an apartment, and it's October, and I'm at Costco, and wouldn't you know it, there's a giant bin of pumpkins, and they're pumped to the brim with GMOs, no doubt about it. But they're beautiful, and they've all got that perfect stem, and I buy one, and I bring it home to my roommates, and I'm showing it off. I'm so proud, and they absolutely hate it. And I won't stop talking about it, and I think their hate is half for the pumpkin and half for how much I love it. Spite is a funny thing, especially amongst friends. And Halloween comes and goes, and the pumpkin stays, and winter break is approaching, and my roommates threaten to throw it off the third-floor balcony. And I demand that we keep it. I've been practicing proper pumpkin maintenance all this time, keeping it away from sharp objects and drinks and such. And I explained that it's really not that difficult to maintain a pumpkin for several months at a time, as long as you take good care of it. Nothing can go wrong. And somehow I win this argument, and the pumpkin remains throughout winter break. And we come back in January, and it's still looking strong. And February passes, and at this point, I'm actually starting to believe myself when I say that this pumpkin is invincible. It sort of splits time between the dining room table and that table over there that everyone has. And my roommates will immediately throw it into my room if I leave it on the dining room table for too long, and I'll put it right back out there. Anyway, February comes and goes, and still the pumpkin stands. And now this brings us to about 2 weeks ago, and it's dinner time, the pumpkin's on the dining room table. And I move to pick it up, kind of mindlessly, as I always do, bringing it to the other table. And I grab the stem, and it feels a little bit light. And I grab it a little bit more, and I look down, and the rest of the pumpkin isn't coming with it. It's just the stem in my hand. There are guts everywhere. It smells rancid. I blush, and tears begin to form.